Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing about plastids and vacuoles. The first topic that we will study today is plastid. Plastids are cell organelles which are only seen to be present in plants, right? And they are categorized in two types. First, chromoplast, and the second one, leucoplast. We will also talk about chloroplast further. Chromoplast, as you can see the figure here of the red chili, the red color in this red chili, the red color in tomato, the orange, yellowish orange color which is seen in case of mangoes, these are because of the presence of chromoplast, right? It gives color to these parts of the plant. The word chromoplast is actually formed out of two words, plastid and chromo. Chromo, which is derived from the word chromos, that means color, colorful. So plastids which are colorful are named as chromoplast, right? Next is chloroplasts, which are very, very important for photosynthesis, and they can perform photosynthesis because of the presence of chlorophyll, which gives them this green color. Here in this figure you can see the green pepper, which is green in color because of the presence of chloroplast, and the chlorophyll pigment containing in it gives it its green color. The next is leucoplasts, which helps in storage of starch, oil and proteins. In fact, plastid also contains DNA, ribosomes and enzymes, right? The next is we will discuss about leucoplasts and chromoplasts. The difference between leucoplast and chromoplast. So in this table we will discuss the points and we will differentiate leuco and chromoplast. First, color. Leucoplast is seen to be colorless, whereas chromoplast, which is non-green but it is brownish to reddish in color, right? If we talk of food, leucoplast stores food, whereas chromoplast cannot store food. If we talk of shape, leucoplasts are cylindrical to round in shape, whereas chromoplasts are irregular. If we talk of function, leucoplast helps in storage of food, whereas chromoplast, according to the name, it provides coloration. The next slide we will talk about chloroplasts. Now chloroplasts are also known as kitchen of the cell, and chloroplasts are green colored plastids. It is because of the presence of chlorophyll in it. This chlorophyll gives it its green color. As you can see in this picture, the structure of leaf and a small portion of the stalk attached to it is given. So if we go close to the structure of leaves, there will be cells present, and in those cells these plastids are present, which are known as chloroplasts, which gives its green color. This plastid is the place where photosynthesis takes place, right? So that is why it is the site of photosynthesis. And as you can see the structure, you can see there are membranes present, outer membrane, inner membrane. So it is a membrane bound structure, right? You can also see there is a part which is labeled as stroma in the figure. Stroma is nothing but the ground matrix, the fluid part within the chloroplast. That is termed as stroma, right? If you can see the structure, you will be able to see there are stack of coin-like structures. Those stack of coin-like structures which is also a flattened sac-like structure, they are called as thylakoids. So flattened sac-like structure present within chloroplast are known as thylakoids. And these are those sacs which contain chlorophyll in it. Right? In the next slide, we will discuss about the structure of the chloroplast descriptively. So in this figure, you can see we can start from the very right hand side top. We have already discussed that chloroplast or plastids overall, whichever we talk, whether chloroplast, chromoplast or leucoplast, they may contain ribosome, DNA, right, enzymes. So as we can see this structure here from right hand top, we will start discussing the figure here. So right hand top, we can see those red dots. In fact, the red dots are spread throughout the structure, and these red dots are ribosomes. If we come down towards the right hand side bottom part, first we will see thylakoids. As I have discussed in the previous slide, the thylakoids are flattened sac-like structure. Those stack of coin like structures, flattened sac-like structures, are called thylakoids, and these structures are the ones which contain chlorophyll in it. Thylakoids are also in fact membranous structure, and that is why they are also comprised of membrane, which is mentioned in the figure, thylakoid membrane. Now that inner part, the cavity like part within thylakoid, that is known as lumen. Lamella is that part which connects from one thylakoid to another thylakoid, right? Next, you can see the part of the matrix is, we already talked about in the previous slide, that stroma is that ground matrix which is named as stroma. It is the fluid part which is named as stroma. Chloroplast also contains its DNA, like we have talked about in previous slide, that plastids contains DNA, ribosomes, enzymes. So this blue colored structure, thread like structure, that is chloroplast DNA. We have also seen in mitochondria that mitochondria also contains its self DNA. So here chloroplast also contains self DNA, right? This blue colored structure, thread like structure, is the chloroplast DNA, right? Granum is nothing but when the thylakoids, they are stacked as like the stacking of coin, that entire stack is called as granum. And as you can see within this chloroplast structure, that there are so many stacks that are present throughout the structure, right? So all together they are called as grana, Grana, and one particular stack is known as granum, Num. Granum, one stack, and if we are talking about all the stacks present within chloroplast, that is called as grana altogether, right? We have already discussed that chloroplast is a membrane structure. So we can see here that it is having an outer membrane and inner membrane, external membrane and internal membrane, and within this two membrane there is a space which is intermembrane space, right? We will move to the next slide where we will differentiate on chloroplast and chromoplasts. So let us see what are the points on which we can differentiate chloroplasts and chromoplasts. First, let us come to color. Chloroplasts are obviously, they are green in color, whereas chromoplasts, they are non-green. We have discussed in the previous differentiation. They are brownish to reddish in color, right? The pigment that they contain, chloroplast possess chlorophyll, whereas chromoplast is not having chlorophyll present in them. but there are other pigments which gives its color, right? Lamella, which we have seen it in the figure, the part which joins two different granum, that part is present in case of chloroplast, but these are seen to be absent in case of chromoplast. If we talk of function, chloroplasts are the important organelle or type of plastid which is the site of photosynthesis, whereas chromoplast, which is also important but gives coloration to organs, right? In the next slide we will talk about functions of plastids. So the first one, as we have discussed, chromoplast provides color. It gives all the different types of color to various parts of the plant, whereas leucoplasts helps in storage of starch, oil as well as proteins, right? Chloroplasts help in photosynthesis, as we have studied in the previous slides, and they also help in production of oxygen. This point is very, very important. It is not only the site of photosynthesis. Chloroplasts are not only the site of photosynthesis, but when the photosynthesis is taking place, the process is taking place, it also helps in production of oxygen, and that is very, very essential for any living organism, in fact the plant itself, right? Next we will study about vacuoles. So vacuoles are also membrane bound sac like structures, right? So in this figure you will see the blue colored region is the structure which shows the presence of vacuole, which denotes the vacuole, and tonoplast, as you can see there, it is just the membranal, the covering of vacuole is known as tonoplast, right? So vacuoles are seen to be prominent in plant cell. They may be present in case of animal. If they are present in animal, it is very small or very less in number, but they are prominent in case of plant cell. The reason why the cytoplasm moves towards the boundary, in case of plant cell the cytoplasm becomes peripheral towards the boundary, because the vacuole remains almost at the center, right? This is a very prominent structure, non-living structure in all generalized cell. Now vacuoles can be differentiated on the basis of their function. The first one is sap vacuoles, which are seen to be present in animal cells or plant cells. We will also talk about them with the help of diagrams in the further slides. The next is food vacuoles, which are seen to be present in case of amoeba or amoeboid cells, right? The next is contractile type of vacuoles, which are found in unicellular freshwater organisms, right? Now these contractile vacuoles are specially, you can see them in amoeba, in paramecium, right? We will see with the help of figures in the further slides, right? So the next slide is on types of vacuoles. Now as we have already studied the names, we will also see with the help of a diagram. So the first one is sap vacuole. As you can see the structure here, we have already discussed that sap vacuoles are present both in animal as well as plant cell. Here the figure is of a plant cell where the vacuole is seen to be prominent, and it is that blue sea green or sea bluish color which shows in this which is shown in this figure. So this particular part is known as or this type is known as sap vacuole type. The next is food vacuole. Now, food vacuole is present in case of organisms like amoeba or amoeboid type of cells. And as you can see, this structure which is labeled as food vacuole. So, any food substances which may be ingested by the cell with the help of a formation of a vesicle, that becomes food vacuole, and enzymes can be released in this vacuole to digest the food, right? The next slide is on contractile vacuoles. I've already discussed that these are present in unicellular organisms which are present in fresh water like amoeba, paramecium. So you can see that these are the structures which are the contractile vacuoles. The arrow depicts clearly the structure which is contractile vacuole, right? Next, we will discuss about the functions of vacuole. The first part is that it can help in excretion. Vacuoles, after, let's say, the food is digested, definitely waste products will be produced. So those waste products can be released, can be excreted from the cell, and so vacuoles take part in excretion. Next, it helps in storage of substances, storage of food material, any essential biomolecules, water, right? So ions, minerals can be stored within vacuoles. So it helps in storage of substances. It stores waste products just because it helps in excretion. So excretion is removal of waste product, right? So definitely the waste products are stored so that they can be excreted later on. Like we have discussed that it helps in storage of substance, definitely it not only stores waste product but it can also store food material in them. Next, it provides turgidity. Now, just imagine the structure of plant cell. When water movement takes place, when water moves inside plant cell, they retain this water within this vacuole, and this water puts a pressure towards the wall, right? So this pressure is what gives its turgidity, rigidity within the cell, and definitely vacuole helps in absorption of water also. So with this information and discussion on plastid and vacuole, we come to the end of this discussion. Thank you everyone.